this is my instant match reaction to the Southampton 0, Tottenham Hotspur 5 Premier League game. And this is a game where at the start I said this could be a sliding doors moment for Ange Postecoglou and his side, that this could be the potential equivalent to when Tottenham went to Aston Villa under Maurizio Pochettino, when he was under all sorts of pressure. And if we could do something good, and in that game against Aston Villa, Harry Kane scored from that free kick and it saved Pochettino. Pochettino admitted himself he thought that saved him. Could this be the game where Ange Postecoglou turns it round for Spurs? An away game for the first time in nearly a year, an away game we're expected to win, that we actually do win and we do it comfortably. And we were 5-0 up at half time. It was the most spectacular first half football that Tottenham have ever had in the Premier League, because they've never scored 5 goals in the first half of a Premier League game before. And to be honest, what I'm going to do is I'm going to talk you through that first half because it was so fun. And then really Tottenham just took their foot off the gas completely in the second half. And I can understand why. We've got Manchester United in the Carabao Cup on Thursday. We've got Liverpool in the weekend. And then we've got Nottingham Forest. So there are more important battles ahead. But that first half was so good. The first minute, unbelievable from Jed Spence, who was making his first start for Tottenham Hotspur. And the first thing he does in the game, he's given the ball facing his own goal around the halfway line in the inverted fullback role, right back. And he takes it on the half turn, beats the first man, then drives away from two other Southampton players, goes narrow, and then with the outside of his boot plays a perfectly weighted through ball to James Maddison, who finishes it beautifully. 1-0 Tottenham, first minute of the game. The rest of that first 5-10 minutes or so, very comfortable for Spurs. Won our first corner in the 8th minute, having won the ball high from Southampton, which we were doing time and time again in that first half. That was really the key to that first half, winning the ball high endlessly. Southampton could not cope with our press. Sonny had a shot in the 9th minute straight at the keeper, just as I'm watching now. Ange Postecoglou and the Spurs players applauding the fans. And Daniel Levy's there as well, the overlord, watching over. Oh my God, watching over his minions. And then in the 11th minute, 2-0, Son Heung-min, which is huge. He got his goal, absolutely huge, as he's been in a bit of a bad run of form. And it was beautiful. Maddison got a cross from the far post in on the right. It's just deflected to the far post. Sorry, the cross is from the right-hand side. The ball is deflected off a Southampton player's head at the near post, and it comes all the way across to Son from at the far post from the left, and he finishes it nicely on his left foot on the half volley. Then in the 13th minute, 3-0, Deki Kulusevski, James Maddison with a beautiful ball over the top from deep, and Sonny is in down the left. He gets to the byline, and then it looks like Solanke's going to tap it in within the 6-yard box, but it's decent defending. But the rebound comes to Deki Kulusevski, who just slots it into an empty net. Then in the 17th minute, Southampton had their first chance. Armstrong with a free header straight at the keeper. It was actually a beautiful cross with the outside of the boot from Tyler Dibbling, who looks like a really exciting young player. 20th minute, Maddison had a shot over the bar. It came from a little bit of a clearance that came to him about 18 yards out. I was sure he was going to hit it first time straight into the net, but instead he took a touch and tries to bend a shot with his right foot into the far left-hand corner, but it goes over and wide. Then the 24th minute, absolute dreamland, 4-0, Pape Matar, Destiny Udogie down the left was unbelievable. Drove from the left-back slot, narrow, beat a load of men, and then Sonny passes the ball across the box, and as Pape Matar is driving into the box, he takes his first touch beautifully into the box, and his second touch beats a Southampton defender, and then with his left foot finishes it into the middle corner of the net. Udogie, unfortunately, injured in that period of play, and as a result, had to go off a couple of minutes later, which is, of course, very worrying. How many more injuries are we going to get? That is the only thing. I've said it before, I'll say it again. That's the only thing that I worry about when it comes to Ange Postecoglou. It cannot be coincidence that the players are getting so many muscle injuries, and something has to change in terms of the training, because obviously the amount of games and the fatigue is really making those players suffer. I can only hope that Udogie's injury is more of a precautionary thing. They took him off and he just felt something that actually he'll be fit for that Manchester United game in the week. In the 29th minute, Lucas Bergvall, who made his first start for Spurs today, got booked. He, for me, is a raw talent. He needs to be polished, but he always wants the ball. He's brave on the ball. He's always showing for it. and he will become a great player for Spurs. It'll take time, but really exciting. I thought he did well. 33rd minute, Sonny was through from a transition, and it showed his confidence that he took his left foot shot early, and it was tipped over by McCarthy. So that's really good news that Sonny's confidence is back. 37th minute, an amazing tackle from Radu Dragusin, who had a good game, stopped a through ball, which would have put Armstrong through 1-on-1. Then in 39th minute, Armstrong should have scored for Southampton. It should have been 4-1. They got to the byline on the left, crossed it, and Armstrong was in that kind of classic Brennan Johnson position, tries to side foot it first time into the bottom corner, but it goes wide, and we were fortunate. Son had a shot at the near post in the 42nd minute, which he probably should have crossed, and that was saved by McCarthy, although the ref didn't give a corner inexplicably. Then the 44th minute, maybe the pièce de résistance of this half, even though it didn't quite lead to a goal. Tottenham were in their own left-back position, right by the corner flag, just playing it around, popping it about, very, very brave. Classic Ange ball, trying to pull on the press. And I said it when they were under pressure. I was like, if they manage to get out of this and score from here, it'd be one of the great goals. And they actually did. And in the end, it came to Son in the box on his left foot. He had so much more time than he thought. And in the end, he ended up just hitting a weak left foot shot that was kind of slightly caught under his body, straight at the keeper. And then in the added minutes of the first half, James Maddison scores the 5th, 5-0. Beautiful ball down the line from Son with the outside of his boot. Madders gets to the byline, and instead of crossing first time, he sells the Southampton players for a hot dog, cuts it onto his right foot, and then beautifully finishes it into the top right-hand corner. It was kind of the exact goal that he was trying to score against Bournemouth when we almost, we needed it more, frankly, and it just went wide and over. But this time he finished it, and that was the last of the scoring. The second half, listen, we let Southampton have a lot more of the ball. We won it up high a couple of times and could have done more, but they really took their foot off the gas, and I understand it. I do. I understand it because we got so many goals, and I don't have and I don't have a problem with it whatsoever. In terms of our performance today, Fraser Forster made the saves that he should have made look pretty easy. He was decent in the air, and I've been so impressed with Forster since he's come in for Vicario. It just shows we do not see training every day. We don't know what's going on, and he is a more than able deputy to Vicario. Jed Spence, I've mentioned him already, but for me, a 9 out of 10 performance. He was brilliant at right back, did that amazing assist in the first minute, just looked so comfortable. I said it all throughout the watch along. Maybe Spence is one of those players who you hear other professionals talk about, where they're like, he's not great at training. He's like pretty laissez-faire about it. It's frustrating. But when you play him in a game, he just looks so comfortable, so brave on the ball. And he's a big, strong boy as well, so helps us in the air. I think he needs to get a lot more minutes. And I think I have to say, I think Ange Postecoglou leaving him out of that Europa League team is something that he should come out and say, I regret. I made a mistake there. Because Spence was outstanding today. He had to move to left back because of Udogie's injury, and he did brilliantly, both at right and left. Very, very exciting. Maybe some of the best news that Tottenham have had during a very difficult time. Udogie showed his worth with that brilliant bit of play for one of the goals as well. Let's, like I said, just hope that he's not that injured. Archie Gray just looks like a Rolls Royce wherever he plays. He's so calm. He's so composed. He's only 18 years old. What a player. Pape Matar, I said before this game, he needed to have a big one. With such a young team out, with Bergvall alongside him, he needed to show his engine. He's the only player in that central midfield who could play or kind of show any kind of defensive nature, really. And he ran all day, Sar. He's got 6 lungs, I think, Pape Matar. And I've said it for a couple of years now, and I'll keep saying it. I really think he has everything in his locker to become the next Patrick Vieira. And maybe the only thing he doesn't have that Vieira had is that kind of bite, but I think he will grow physically still, and I think he will get stronger, and I also think he will add more goals. He did get a goal, but he'll add more goals into his play. But that break into the box showed exactly what Vieira used to be like. Really fantastic and very composed when he got in there as well. Bergvall, I've talked about, a rough diamond, clearly an incredibly talented footballer, and I'm so pleased he got his first start for Spurs, and I think he did really well all game. Maddison, man of the match, 2 goals, beautiful stuff. Kulusevski tried, worked throughout, but it didn't come as simply for him today, but he did well. Solanke just held up the ball beautifully throughout the game. Didn't really, other than that one chance that ended up with Kulusevski's goal, didn't have anything clear cut, so no problems, and he was able to get a bit of a rest at the end as well. And Sonny, beautiful stuff. His confidence is back, and that will bode so well for Tottenham Hotspur going forward. And we need, if we're going to do anything this season, we are going to need a fit and a happy and a confident Son Heung-min. And I have to mention, off the bench, Pedro Porro did well when he came on because of Udogie's injury. And Alfie Dorrington made his first start for Tottenham, 19 years old. He had one shaky moment where he gave the ball away and they scored a disallowed goal. But actually, he recovered from that moment well because he didn't go chasing it backwards into his own box and keep them onside. He kept his 18-yard line with his other defenders, and that was vital in him being in that goal being disallowed for offside. Brennan Johnson came on, probably should have scored one, although it would have been given offside anyway. And Werner was Werner, gave the ball away a couple of times, but then also once broke down the left and hit in a beautiful cross. So listen, I can tell you this. I was not expecting Spurs to win 5-0 at the St. Mary's tonight. I was worried. So let's take our W where we can. Let's enjoy tonight. And let's hope we can take that confidence into the game at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium on Thursday night against Manchester United, because that is a game we need to win. United have got a big win today in the Manchester derby, in a game that apparently they didn't deserve really anything from at all. They just kind of hung in there. And on Thursday night, we need the fans behind the team and we need to blow away Manchester United early. That's what we need to do. We need to do to them similar to what we did to Southampton today. And if we can win that game, then maybe then we can go into that Liverpool game and think, let's shake things up a little bit in the Premier League here and go on a little bit of a run as we head towards January and hopefully starting to get the likes of Van der Ven and Ben Davies back and some of those other injuries as well. Anyway, that's been my instant match reaction, guys. Really appreciate you watching and listening.